What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Knockout Sessions. It's your boys, Julio and Milton, here with another episode filled with combat knowledge. Hopefully you're watching still to this point, because if you're not, we will find you.
I told you, you got to share it to your worst enemies. Share it to everybody.
Yeah, to you, especially your uncles. All right? But we begin today's episode with a preview for what's coming up on Saturday.
It's fight week.
Artur, the right Artur Beterbiev takes on Callum Smith on Saturday, and I'm really excited for this fight.
And in Canada, so.
Canada. I love you, Canada.
So, what chances are we really giving Callum Smith to beat Arthur? Let's start there.
You want to start there?
Let's just right there, because 100% knockout ratio. He's what? 18-0, 19-0?
19-0.
19-0, 100% knockout ratio. So, I mean, Virgil's in the same boat.
For those of you who are struggling with math, 19 wins, 19 executions.
Like my boy Virgil, shout out, fought last week. Got first round knockout against that janitor.
Thanks to Tony
Weeks. But anyways, going right back to
Tony.
Callum Smith. I know we kind of touched base on this before, that we saw a nice change on Callum's game moving up to 175. He's been looking very competitive, very dominant in a lot of ways, and it seems to be a trend all the time. When you test yourself against the greats, you come out a better person. He went against Canelo, lost, pretty bad against Canelo, but ever since he moved up to light heavyweight, he's been looking great, right?
Yeah, he's gotten a knockout in his last two fights at 175, beating Lennon Castillo and beating Matthew Bouderleg. Impressive knockouts. The first one was against Castillo was in the second round. The second one against Matthew was in the fourth round. He's looked good. He looked like he's got power. He's got some pop in his punch. He's not looking like he's overdraining himself. I think this is a good fight for Beterbiev
to win in 2 rounds. That's what I'm asking you. I want to know what you. I don't want this fake Julio. I want the real Julio to come out. Julio, I want to know what you think.
I don't want to sell Callum short, because he's a game opponent. And Beterbiev right now is coming off of some big wins and the streak of Joe Smith Jr.
But I said
and Yard.
But I said this before. He's taken a lot of punishments.
He did, especially the Yard fight.
The Yardy fight, Yardy.
It's Yard.
Fight, and then the what was he? That Latin dude?
Marcus Brown.
Marcus Brown.
Yeah.
I think he's Latin. I don't think he's
not.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Marcus Brown and Anthony.
Yeah.
Both of those fights, he took a lot of punishments, and based on the performance on those fights is why I've tried to make an argument of why I think Canelo might have a chance to beat Arthur.
We're not getting into all that.
I'm just making a statement. All right, we're not getting into it. I'm just making a statement. This is why I think, I think Canelo could beat him, and that's where I think Callum can have an opportunity to beat him, because he takes a lot of punishment. But he's shown he can definitely take the punishment and keep giving you punishment back, and it becomes a situation of who can handle the punishment.
He's got the cardio to back it up, and here's what I'll say about Callum. Does he have a chance against Beterbiev? I don't think so. I think he loses to Beterbiev, and it probably will be by knockout. But I'll say this about Callum. I would not be surprised if he went to 12 rounds with Beterbiev and still lost. If you know what I mean. I think Callum can, I don't know if he can win, but I think he can survive.
Because, see, with Callum Smith, because I know we kind of thought something similar when he fought Joe Smith Jr., right? We were like, oh, Joe Smith Jr. has a lot of power, but didn't box well, right? With Callum, he boxes well, a lot of volume, a lot of good combos. Everything Joe Smith Jr. didn't have, and he's shown he has pop.
I think if you combine his last 2 fights, Yard and Joe Smith Jr., you got Callum Smith.
Yes,
So this is like a perfect fight for him if we're to see Beterbiev versus Bivol down the line, which we have to.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, if you put Anthony and Joe Smith Jr. all as one fighter, and you give that punishment
to Artur,
Artur, you really don't think he will give in?
That's the question we need answered this weekend. That's the beauty of it. We get to see what extra gear Beterbiev has to him. Mm-hmm. Can he knock out a Callum Smith in devastating fashion? Because if he can't, then we still got to look at Bivol and be like, are you sure you still want that man?
See, what's going to end up happening, and I know we don't want to touch base on this, if Callum Smith wins, Canelo's going to fight him, get those belts, and then do an Undisputed Championship with Bivol at light heavyweight.
Now, wouldn't that be kind of a wet dream for Canelo fans?
I don't know anyone in here, so I mean, either way, even if Callum won, and let's say fantasy world it comes true and that happens, he's not the same Callum. He's still going to be. He would still probably give Canelo a competitive fight, and he would probably give Bivol a competitive fight because he's a different style fighter than Canelo. And I think the excitement here is just the fact that we've seen Artur light heavyweight champ for the longest. We've seen them tease Bivol and him for the longest. It's kind of that Crawford, Errol Spence with less hype. You know, we just got to see that fight. So at this point, hopefully in the, you know, I know it's 2024, but we saw what happened with Wilder. Upsets, right? We're just, Bivol did what he needed to do. Now we need Artur to do what he needs to do.
We got to give credit to Artur, though. He's facing tougher opposition than what Bivol is.
I mean, Canelo and fucking Ramirez, Zurdo?
Give me something outside of those two.
Okay, give me something outside of freaking Brown and Joe Smith Jr.
Anthony Yard.
And Anthony Yard, okay.
Callum Smith.
No, okay. Okay, so regardless, I mean, once Bivol and Artur get in the ring, I favor Bivol. You know,
That's where we differ.
Of course.
That's where we differ. I believe Beterbiev is a solid puncher that nobody's. Beterbiev has that power that people don't realize until they get in that ring with.
I mean, 100% knockout ratio. I'm pretty sure they're realizing this man is serious.
His rise is very Golovkin-esque. Mm-hmm. You know, like you don't know what you're facing really until you're in that ring with that man. Beterbiev, I think he can take out Bivol in 10.
Ooh, okay.
But again, I also need to see what he looks like on Saturday.
Yeah, 100%. So, in your opinion, if Callum Smith wins, where do you think Callum Smith should go? Should he go for the Undisputed Championship?
Yes.
Yeah?
You make Smith Bivol, and at that point, Bivol has another common opponent with Canelo. I think Canelo fans are about to love this. Gives Canelo all the more, if he gets through Benavidez, all the more reason to go back up to 175 and challenge for the undisputed title. And there's your storybook ending for Canelo's career.
Yeah, but see, one of the scary things about all of this is that if Bivol does become undisputed, and for whatever reason Canelo hasn't fought Benavidez, that will always be what people remember him by. The fact that he didn't fight Benavidez. But that will be for May of 2024 when we announce it that he's fighting fucking Jaime Munguia.
De La Hoya's really working on that right now. He's really working on that fight for Canelo Munguia, and it's kind of scary to me that rumor is not going away. It's still getting traction.
See, but this is what I really don't understand. Munguia's with Golden Boy. Munguia's under DAZN. And I know we kind of touched base on this, the fact that PBC doesn't have a network right now, which I know they did their deal with Amazon. But how is it that now that Canelo's with PBC, he still has his 2 contracts left with PBC, we're pushing so hard for the Munguia fight, instead of just getting his contracts over with David Benavidez? Like I said before, give me David next. Depending on how that fight goes, we can argue a rematch for the third and final fight, or we can see the big, maybe Terrence Crawford, Canelo showdown, and then payday, and then we can move on to Bivol. Like, I don't understand why this push is happening right now. And I get it. It probably has to do with the fact that it was probably going to be the 2 Charlos and Benavidez. And
Big Charlo kind of put a wrench in that.
Exactly. But why not just move forward straight to the Benavidez fight? What's this whole necessity of it needing to be the third fight?
I think if you're going to build up a fight, especially with the whole Mexican versus Mexican.
Benavidez built it up with himself all last year.
I understand and I agree with that. I think Benavidez is the man that.
And I'm a Canelo fan.
I am too.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
We're not going to touch that subject.
I'm just a realist as well.
I'm being too. That's why I'm expressing frustration that I can't defend Canelo if he fucking does something like this, where not only does he not get along with De La Hoya, but when they were both under the zone, that fight was nowhere to be found in Canelo's radar. But now you want to make the fight when Munguia Berlanga is the ideal fight for him. You know what I'm saying?
It's one of the good fighs for Munguia. Yeah, he's still got Ryder in front of him. We just never know, right? That fight's also supposed to take place January, later this month. I believe a week after Beterbiev. I don't get it. I don't get what the whole thought process is making Munguia and Canelo, because I get it. Munguia is he's got his following, he's got some star power, especially in Mexico, but he hasn't done anything remotely close to what David's done to say I should also be in consideration for this. Mm-hmm. Now, if Munguia went and beat up Berlanga, we can definitely talk about Munguia versus Canelo or even Benavidez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think Munguia is falling into the same conversation that we kind of had about Andy Ruiz the other day. It's like, what have you done to say, I want the trilogy, right? What has Munguia done to say, I want Canelo? You haven't done anything, right? Why should Canelo bless you with such a big payday, but then on top of that, you jump up the ranks? And I'm not saying it can't happen, but what if Munguia upsets Canelo? Then what? Then we fucking the AJ Wilder bullshit starts happening all over again. The upsets. You know?
Do I think Munguia can meet Canelo? Hell
no. No, me either. But I'm just saying
it could. Yeah, punch chance. But at the same time, it's like Munguia did nothing at 160. He didn't fight the fighter. This conversation would be so much different had Munguia went and fought Triple G.
100%.
Or Charlo.
100%.
But none of that happened.
You can still fight Charlo Munguia.
At 168.
100%.
Now, if Munguia Berlanga is a good one, if Munguia really wants to shortcut, skyrocket into that conversation, give me Munguia Morel.
100%.
There'll be no debate.
See, if Munguia does what Benavidez did, is start taking on the guys that Canelo hasn't taken on. That Canelo is not in Canelo's radar, right? So we could talk about Morel, Berlanga, and Big Charlo. Those three names, if Munguia gets through those three names,
or even two
of them, and he looks just as competitive and dominant, my God, no one's going to start. Now we're going to probably argue Canelo's probably going to start saying Benavidez.
We can even say Munguia Benavidez.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Benavidez is the real test you need to beat first, because he's 100% next in line.
Munguia Killer Plant.
Munguia Killer Plant. I know we keep throwing Killer Plant out there to the
wolves, but that's because Caleb's about it,
though. Yeah. At this point, fucking give me Munguia Boo Boo. You know what I'm saying? Munguia has not fought anyone remotely close to.
His biggest name to this day is Gabe Rosado, Deviachenko, and he's about to add Ryder. That's a somewhat good three, but it's not enough for me to say he deserves the S tier, which is Benavidez and Canelo.
And even based on what we saw against Deviachenko, which, some people said he might have lost, right? What makes us think that he won't lose to Ryder? Ryder's no fucking
walking the
chump. He's a live fucking underdog. You saw that even Canelo, struggled a little bit with Ryder.
Yeah. Again,
just Canelo happens to be that rare talent. He is more elite, and he found a way to get the win. Mm-hmm. But Munguia hasn't really adjusted his offense. His defense ain't that great. So, reality, we might even see John Ryder just end up upsetting Munguia, and then next thing you know, we're having a Ryder Canelo rematch.
This will actually be worse than timing wise than when De La Hoya threw Canelo to Mayweather.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is almost like
because not only Munguia, again, wasted his time at 160, but, De La Hoya had Virgil. We all saw what happened with Virgil. And then he had Munguia. And then, again, we know what happened with Munguia. It's like two of your biggest Mexican prospects, or Mexican...
Aside from Ryan,
like they're essentially their careers have not been able to
advance.
They're
not marketable enough to say they deserve these fights,
or they're potentially the next face of boxing. Like,
because they haven't fought opposition where we look at it and go, we want to see him against him.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and the ones we are saying, I want to see him against him, they're not fucking making it.
No. So I disagree with the fact that they should be negotiating this fight. If Canelo does take this Munguia fight, because I think a lot of answers to our questions will be solved after Munguia faces Ryder, depending on how that goes. Then we'll really start seeing what's Canelo's future looking like. Mm-hmm. If it's all said and done, and I wake up May 5th, and it's Canelo Munguia, we gotta have a talk. We gotta have we gotta have a talk.
No intervention?
No, at this point is execution. It is riot. It is blasphemous. It is horrible. If I wake up May 5th and it's Canelo Munguia on that card, anything outside of Canelo Benavidez, we got problems.
Look, the reality is, since you like to be a realistic person, is Canelo is probably going to fight someone not named Benavidez next.
We gotta have a talk.
We are having a talk right now. I'm letting you know.
This is a warning. And not just to you. I'm Canelo fans.
I'm warning
Canelo fans. I'm a Canelo fan myself. No matter what people say.
Look.
But I'm also
telling you Canelo haters. I'm telling you Canelo haters, just listen to these words. Canelo is going to be old in September. I keep saying this. And even old Canelo will beat Benavidez in September. The hype is not going anywhere. So old Canelo's old, guys. I'm not making excuses for him. He's old. But even this old man, like Barroso, is going to knock out Benavidez.
I'll take the knee and I'll agree if, God forbid, we go through this route. Canelo knocks out Munguia in May.
That's exactly what's going to happen. You heard it here first.
Then I will bend the knee and I'll say Canelo still got it. But is it the right fight? No. It's Canelo Benavidez in May, or we riot.
You riot. I understand.
Oh no, me and my people.
It's all business.
We riot.
It's all business.
We stand on business.
Uh-huh.
But speaking of fights that are being made, one that's official is your boy Inoue is
the
back.
Monster.
He's
the
back.
Monster.
Already calling more shots, fighting La Pantera. Luis Nery.
He has he has no shot, man. I'm sorry. If you go back and you look at the Brian Figueroa fight, my dude is like swinging and has his head out there. Like, I'm sorry, but he has no shot against Inoue. Inoue is a small Canelo, a young, small Canelo.
Yeah, I'll also speak to that. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to take place in May in Tokyo too. On top of all that,
May 5th.
I believe it is on.
Cinco de Drinko.
No, it doesn't have a specific date. I know it's the fight is booked for May in Tokyo. You know that crowd is gonna go crazy for Inoue. Mm-hmm. Luis Nery
was actually banned from Tokyo because he tested dirty. So the irony in all of this is that he's back in Tokyo for his first.
He's gonna get booed out the building
probably.
But he's been reinstated. I think Nery's not a bad fight in a way. I think at this point it's like Inoue he's doing side missions at this point.
Yeah, until he makes his jump up to 126, which if he gets through Nery, which he should, I think he fought Fulton, who fought Brian Figueroa. He's fighting Nery, who fought Brian Figueroa, move up to 126 and just fight Brian Figueroa. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, I mean, he can start campaigning at 126 and start maybe Lee Wood.
I mean, I know Luis Nery has his like hardcore Mexican followers. I don't really think he has a chance against them. I think it's
no. I mean, if you even call it defense, he has the traditional Mexican style,
which is such a bad style to take against Inoue.
That's what I'm saying.
Like he's literally being sacrificed. Is what the point is. Like
he's just making the title defense just to say that he didn't become undisputed and vacate the title. So
pretty much. I mean, at this point, if Nery was to score the upset, man, Mexico's probably gonna go crazy.
I mean, we would have to go crazy. Come on.
Yeah, but we'd be like, what the shit?
Upsetting Inoue, you're not gonna go crazy?
No, because I'm rooting for Inoue.
I mean, me too, but at the same time,
I get it, countryman, our people, that's fine.
Come on.
See, here's the difference between me and a lot of people. I don't really care about the whole racial thing. I don't care if he's Mexican. I don't care if he's representing America. I got my guys, and I got my fight. These are my guys, and let's go Japan on that night. So, sorry if I betrayed and I broke a lot of our people's hearts.
I like miso ramen. I like anime. But at the same time, I love Inoue. But if Nery fucking upsets Inoue, my guy, like, come on.
We got a new star, that's for sure.
Yes.
Kind of like the Reese thing with Joshua.
Kinda, yes.
You know? But it's not gonna happen.
No.
That was a nice little... That was a fantasy. We can all wake up now.
Yeah, I mean, that... Based on Nery's style, man, like, no. He has the traditional Mexican style. He keeps his head way out, you know.
He's just susceptible to get...
Yeah, like, he's definitely going to make it a little exciting for a little bit because he should be right there exchanging punches with Inoue, but that man is beautiful.
His style is sexy, and that's the best way to put it. Speaking of countrymen, our fellow Mexicans, let's talk about the son of the GOAT. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has been arrested for, I believe it was possession of illegal firearms.
The fact that you're named after him is so beautiful. So beautiful.
We share the same name, but we don't share the same legacy. I've never been to the Pinta.
Debatable. We're gonna find a mugshot of you out there somewhere.
Maybe. Chavez Jr., 37 years old, has done absolutely nothing in the last
waste his daddy's money.
10 years aside from waste his dad's money. His dad, you know what reports are coming out? That Chavez Sr. is literally having a petition to God for his son at this point.
Yeah, because I think he's not allowed. I think Junior put a restraining order against that.
I mean, if I'm his dad, I'd whoop his ass at this point. You know?
That's what you say, but you don't have a son.
I don't.
You don't understand.
You wouldn't whoop your son's ass if he was acting out like Chavez Jr.?
No, I just take away his last name.
Oh, that was harsh. That was on some Soldier Boy stuff. Watch The Boys.
I will freeze all their accounts.
Jesus.
Give me back my last name. That's it.
Yeah, because his dad went on, he said, "Thank you for checking and worrying about my son, Julio. Unfortunately, I confirmed that the news spread today. My son, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., was arrested, and we are working with his lawyers to resolve his legal situation. I ask God that this be the moment that propels my son towards a useful and happy life." Let me tell you something, Chavez. Let me tell you something, Idolo. He's lost cause.
He's quit in live fights. He's gone to jail.
Dressed like a woman. Cocaine.
Any drug you can probably think of, he's probably done at this point. I mean...
Got his money stolen by whores.
I don't know how to fix that, my guy.
Like,
I really don't.
What a disappointment.
Again, you're named after him, so...
I don't
know which is worse.
I bring more joy to Chavez than Chavez Jr. does at this point.
I mean, I do believe that part.
Chavez.
For people that don't know, he's actually related to Senior some way, somehow. So.
Maybe. He's from Sonora, too. Bro, you're the... I ain't gonna lie. Here's a personal admittance to everybody. I was a Chavez Jr. fan back in the day.
You still are?
No. I was a Chavez Jr. fan. I was so much a Chavez Jr. believer that when he fought Canelo, I actually wanted Chavez Jr. to win. Not because out of hate for Canelo, but it's because I wanted to see this redemption comeback story for him. And he was just in there to get his ass whooped for 12 rounds. At that point, I gave up on him. I actually had hope when he fought Jacobs. You were there.
I was.
Tell these people the reaction that you felt live.
The fact that there was, it probably still is, so many casual fans out there who just hear the name Chavez, showed out not knowing who Chavez was all about and who Jacob was, and they went, they paid the money, you know, cheering him on. Like, there was a huge crowd out there for Junior, and he just quit.
And he was looking good at some point of that fight.
Yeah, it looked competitive until he got hit in the freaking nose and it hurt him and boo-hoo.
And then he went and dressed like a woman.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's unfortunate to see that Chavez Jr. is just it's not even a fall anymore. It's just a burial of a career at this point. Like, he's so irrelevant. I feel bad for his pops.
At this point, it's not even a career, my guy. Like,
it's just,
his career ended years ago. This is just the aftermath of his spoiled life.
It's sad.
It is sad.
It's really sad to watch, and hopefully he can get his stuff together, because if not, like, that lifestyle he's living is not going to sustain. You know, and it sucks because his brother's also gone through a lot. Omar Chavez, especially after the incident with the ring when the man died in the ring when he was fighting him. That family's gone through a lot. Like that, it sucks to see it, but you know, hopefully things get better for you, Chavez Jr. You still owe me $200 from that bet I lost against Canelo, but it's okay. See, you know,
not even because you look dehydrated as fuck. You fucking
yeah. And he was looking good because he made the weight, and it didn't look like it screwed with him. But yeah,
that's 20 years ago.
As a human being, I wish you the best. As a fan, I've been done with you.
See, the fact that were a Chavez Jr. fan is the perfect way that we can move into the next subject of you being a Masvidal fan.
So we move on to the UFC side / boxing side of things, where the return of Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. He's mad.
I'm not mad. I'm annoyed of how. What would be the right term for you?
He's trying to say double standard.
No.
I know where he's going with this.
It's not a double standard. It's hypocrisy.
Okay. For those who don't know, double standard and hypocrisy, go ahead and look it up. We'll continue.
Okay, hypocrisy. Because you are always saying that you do not want to pay or see your UFC fighters go into a boxing match.
With
a boxing match.
With
a boxing match. No,
with who?
With each other.
With Jake fucking Paul. That's the problem here all the time.
So let's start here. And I know we kind of talked based
for those of you who are wondering, Jorge Masvidal is fighting Nate Diaz in a boxing fight. We failed to mention all that. That is supposed to happen later this year.
Did you think that Nate versus Jake Paul was rigged?
Yes.
Why did you think Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul was rigged?
Nate's a better boxer than what he looked that night.
Okay. So if Nate Diaz looks the same against Masvidal, was Nate really a better boxer, or was Jake Paul really that good?
It means Nate's boxing sucks.
Or here's a better one: if Masvidal versus Nate Diaz looks competitive, isn't that fair to say that Masvidal is not that good of a boxer like you thought, and most likely Jake Paul will probably beat Masvidal in a boxing match?
No, what that means is that Nate's a better boxer, and he proved my point because it was competitive.
What was competitive?
that if Nate and Jorge was competitive, Nate came
your
to fight.
Delusions of
Nate came to fight.
That your delusion, Nate was there to fight against Jake Paul.
No, he was there to cash in on a check.
Well, you don't think he's getting paid for this?
I mean, he was in the back reading the script saying, okay, in the 7th round I do this, and so in the 9th round I do this. Do I still get
Is he not getting paid to fight Masvidal?
Nate?
Yes.
I would hope so, yes.
So if he's making a paycheck here, what makes you think he won't fight the same way?
Because Jorge's not going to go to Nate and be like, hey, I need you to do this for me.
Show me the facts of where Jake Paul
It'll come out like the Epstein documents one day.
Oh my God.
That's what it's gonna be.
Oh my goodness. You and your freaking conspiracy theories.
I'm not letting go of that. I know there's something rigged in Jake. You know when my conspiracy with Jake started? The rig?
Ben Askren?
No.
Yes.
No. Anderson Silva.
Oh my God, you hater.
Bet you people forgot about that fight, but Anderson should have never lost that fight.
Anderson should have never lost. You mean he did lose that fight? So what do you mean?
He should have never, from the quality.
Maybe 20 years ago.
No, not even 5 years ago. Anderson should have never lost that fight against Jake Paul. Anderson's a better striker than that night he looked.
So you're literally saying all of your heroes, Nate Diaz, Anderson Silva, Tyrone Woodley, they're all sellouts. They're all willing to.
Yes.
That makes no sense.
It makes no sense. I feel like I'm at a point where, like, if I see
Masvidal versus Jake Paul,
Masvidal's gonna sell out. If I see
Canelo versus Jake Paul,
Canelo might sell out.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Like,
You are literally that 55, 60, 70-year-old man in the fucking cabin alone saying that the fucking government's coming after him.
and there's a sour taste in my mouth when I see a Jake Paul fight.
That's probably the man you were with last night.
No. There's this thing about Jake that I just look at and I'm like, no. But to get back to the point, when I see Jorge,
It's because you're actually impressed by Jake Paul and you refuse to swallow your
he
pride.
lost to an actual boxer. It proved my point. Like, there is nothing to argue anymore after that.
My whole point is that he's better than the UFC fighters, and you are saying that the UFC fighters are they're willing to suck up their pride and their image to sell out to Jake Paul. How does that make sense?
Hey.
Why can't you just say Jake Paul is just in the boxing ring a better fighter? We're not even arguing octagons. We're not even arguing street fights. We're just arguing in the boxing ring. Jake Paul just found the 1-2 that works better for him that the UFC fighters can't figure out.
Maybe. We'll see when the documents come out one day on Jake Paul's fights. I don't care, but the reason I'm cool with Masvidal Diaz, it's not going to be like something I'm dying to watch.
Yes, you are.
I'm like...
Everybody saw your reaction when you said, the return of Masvidal.
Yeah, because two things. One, this is two MMA fighters getting in the ring together. Like, the quality is not going to be great, probably, but it's going to be fun to watch. It'll be like when people, like Jose Aldo when he fought Jeremy Stevens in a boxing ring. It was a good fight.
So let me ask you this then. Where do you think Masvidal is going with this? Why make a return?
Which makes my second point.
Okay.
This is where I get pissed. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see Masvidal back. I just hate where it's going.
The
winner of Jorge and Nate probably faces Jake Paul. Like, you know what I'm saying? Boom. Like,
so you're excited about a fighter fighting another UFC fighter because you don't think your fighter is a sellout, but the moment he wins this fight and goes fights Jake Paul, he becomes a sellout?
Time to start writing that script, baby.
Oh my God.
Time to start writing that script.
Now you know why he's going to end up alone in a cabin in the woods talking to himself.
I mean, yes, because I'm surrounded by a bunch of Jake Paul fans.
I'm not a fan. I'm a realist. I'm telling you, this is reality.
Let me ask you this, Jake Paul realist. What level of opposition should Jake Paul be fighting? We talk about Canelo, how he should be fighting Beterbiev. Who should Jake Paul be fighting?
Oh my God, you sound like all the fucking broadcasters who are just mad that Jake Paul has a following and so he's making big dollars to fight low opposition. Technically, there's not a single boxer who starts their pro careers fighting top level opposition.
Okay, so who should he be fighting right now?
Whatever janitors every boxer fights in their first 10 fights. Show me the 10 fights of all your favorite boxers and tell me who the fuck those 10 fighters were. The only person that you can maybe argue that was, here we go, Vasily Lomachenko. Lomachenko, that doesn't count. No other boxer starts this way. Literally no other boxer starts.
You said give me a fighter.
And I was literally about to say except Lomachenko, and I see you fucking typing Lomachenko.
I mean, at this point, fine. At what point should we start saying Jake needs to fight such level opposition.
I mean, he already did. Tommy Fury. Even Tommy Fury is like your 8th fight because they're both literally in the same level of sucking in boxing. Like, Tommy Fury has no signs or anything that he's going to be even a contender. Like, he's just a prospect fighter.
So is that Jake's ceiling? Because he lost to him.
That's what I'm saying, yes. But I've never argued that Jake Paul's going to become a fucking world champion in boxing. I'm saying that I think you are way on denial on the idea that he is not better than these UFC fighters in a boxing match. You refuse to see that he just happens to be better in boxing. Again, in street fights, most of the UFC fighters with a leg kick will probably...
CM Punk could beat Jake Paul in an octagon, probably.
Okay, and that's not what the argument is here. None of that we're arguing. I'm just saying, how are you going to say that all your favorite fighters in the octagon happen to be sellouts?
Let me ask you something. Make me understand that. What makes you wake up in the morning on a Saturday morning and say, oh, I can't wait to see this Jake Paul fight?
I don't. You've never heard me say that.
But make a case for these other followers of Jake Paul.
They fucking love his YouTube video and they're like, oh shit, Jake Paul's a fucking... Dude, all the people that Jake Paul got as a following on YouTube are a bunch of trolls and Jake Pauls.
So you?
No.
You're a troll.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. I'm not a troll.
Okay. Regardless, but the people who watch the Jake Paul fights that Jake Paul is ringing are non-boxing fans. They really don't know who Tommy Fury is, or maybe they do from Love Island.
It's a bunch of monster drinking incels that think that, like, oh, this gimmicky fight is fun and I can't wait for it.
That's why YouTube boxing is such a big thing right now.
Let me make one thing clear, because I know if Jorge beats Nate, he's ready for this. Would you watch Jorge Masvidal versus Jake Paul?
We will be watching.
Why do I need to watch?
Because Jorge is your man.
He's one of my favorite UFC fighters of all time. Yes. Why would I want to watch that fight though?
Because he's making his boxing debut with Nate Diaz, and he's taking on a step-up fight.
Would you watch Canelo versus Jake Paul?
Yes.
I wouldn't want to see that.
That's fine, but we are.
We have to.
You already know that fucking our intern's gonna be making the carne asada for us
and buying it.
No,
I'm just kidding. We'll get the carne intern. But I mean, I'm excited for the Masvidal Diaz fight just because of, like, it's two UFC fighters, not that far off of their last UFC fights, and it's actually going to be under Masvidal's promotions, which is Game Bread Boxing. So it's cool. Like, I see what Masvidal's doing. He's growing his brand. That's a big thing to do. You know, we'll see how it looks. We'll see how Jorge's box, because Jorge's style is based on boxing.
Yep.
So,
I mean, now that we're done with the irrelevant...
No. We're not done. Jorge versus Nate, who wins in a boxing fight?
Oh, Jorge's going to win. Because I've seen Nate fight in the boxing match.
Knockout or decision?
No, nobody's ever knocked out Nate Diaz.
Okay.
It's going to go to a decision.
Okay. I agree.
Good.
I got Jorge.
But again, now that we're done with the irrelevant stuff,
hater. Unless it has Jake Paul, then it's not irrelevant.
Move on to the big boy UFC
Bring
conversations.
It in. Soak it in.
So, what do you think about John Jones not giving Tom Aspinall the time of day? Explain that to me. So, you're the genius, I'm the idiot, right? You are the expert, I don't know shit, right? But if we kind of just break it down a bit, right? And you love my math. I love my math. My math is amazing, right? Tom Aspinall, what was it, like 2 years ago, lost to Curtis, what's his last name?
Curtis Blades.
Curtis Blades, right? Curtis Blades loses to Sergey.
Okay.
And then Tom Aspinall beats Sergey. So, Stipe lost to Ngannou.
Okay.
And he's coming off a loss to go straight into a title shot, but Aspinall beat the man who beat him, who beat the man.
Okay.
But he's coming off of good fucking solid wins, especially against a boogeyman like Sergey.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to me why John Jones won't give Aspinal the fight and he wants to fight Stipe. Where's the reasoning? You, the expert, me, the idiot, I want to know.
2 reasons.
Give me number 1.
1, he wants the name Stipe Miocic on his
Why?
resume. Because Stipe is arguably the greatest heavyweight fighter of all time for UFC. Stipe is like no joke. It's just the problem is with this fight between Stipe and John, it's about 3 to 4 years too late.
Yes.
And Stipe has not fought in 3 years.
But Dana White's never been known to be a boxing promoter and fucking skip the people who deserve the title shot.
Mm-hmm.
So what's reason number 2?
I think for the fact that Jones is fighting Miocic is more of a fact of like the UFC kind of like conceding to that fact and saying, oh, you know what, John deserves it.
So maybe John...
He's calling his shots.
And it's kind of what you were talking about. I would love to see Tony go out on a bang. So you think John doesn't want to risk losing to Tom Aspinall on his last fight? Is that reasonable to think?
I think there's a little bit of fear in there. So Tom Aspinall is a complete package where he can bang it out, he can wrestle you, he's got a chin, he has no fear to stand in the pocket with you. He stands in the pocket with, that's a big boy right there. That's a big boy. He has no fear because he stood in the pocket with Sergey Pavlovich, who, like you said, is the boogeyman. He was just knocking people into orbit. Tom has every factor you want to see go in there with a John Jones. Very similar to Dominic Reyes.
Mm-hmm.
And Dominic Reyes arguably beat John Jones. Gustafsson arguably beat John Jones. Those two are very similar to what Tom Aspinall brings.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Tom is an even better wrestler than probably those two guys.
So if we look at the rankings, right, and if we take John Jones out of the equation, we take Stipe out of the equation, and he already beat Sergey. Mm-hmm. If we were to strip John Jones, who would Tom Aspinall fight next?
Let's talk about it.
I want to.
With the fate of the... This is going to be if you know, if you know. And with the fate of the universe on the line, the Martians pointing the laser beams on planet Earth, I want Alex Pereira. Pereira, Aspinall would be a fun fight. And they've been teasing that for a while about possibly making that a fight.
Because I think at this point, let Aspinall fight for the actual title. If you want a dream fight where Alex has the opportunity to become a 3-division champ, right? Let's just have fucking John Jones and Stipe as a co-main.
Oh, yeah, right. Dana White's
okay, well, then do it backwards. Have John Jones, Stipe as a main event, and then Aspinall.
Let me tell you something.
Because no matter what, you're saying that the back and forth that John Jones and Tom were going, it doesn't seem like John Jones is going to give him the time of day no matter what.
Because he's saying he doesn't deserve it. He says he's looked at his record and he only recognizes 4 names. And I disagree with it, and I agree with Tom in this aspect of, well, I am trying to build my legacy. Mm-hmm. That's why I want the fight with you, and I've earned it because, yes, he is the interim champ. He rightfully beat Sergey Pavlovich. Beating Sergey Pavlovich absolutely makes you worthy of the fight against the man. The man in this equation is John Jones. Jones and Stipe is going to happen. There's no argument with that. Dana's going to make that happen. The problem with that fight happening is that there's a title on that fight.
That's what I'm saying. Because where does that leave Tom if, in the meantime?
Strip John.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing. Strip John. I'm agreeing with you. Strip John. If John wants to have his legacy fight, because it clearly doesn't care about the belt. Yeah. The belt is about the rankings. The belt is about the glory of it. That's what Tom Aspinall is trying to get to. If John wants his legacy fight, then go fight Stipe. Go ahead and make it a 5-round fight, non-title. Mm-hmm. That's the problem with John. John all of a sudden thinks he can just call his shots and have the heavyweight division on hold because he just had his surgery, like we mentioned in the last video recently, and he's out for 10 weeks and still has to train. That fight, John and Stipe is not going to happen until maybe the fall, late fall, maybe early winter. we're not going to have the heavyweight division held up like that.
Yeah.
Tom Aspinall is the perfect man to represent the division if John's to be stripped.
But you think the only fight to make for the title will be Alex?
There is another man that could probably come into mind.
I bet.
Jailton Almeida.
Explain him.
He is a tough son of a bitch. Let me tell you what this man has done.
Please. I love...
You haven't seen his fights?
No.
Okay. I don't blame him. He's not a well-known name. This man is...
named after me. Jailton.
He just beat Derek Lewis at UFC Fight Night on November 4th by decision. Before that, beat Jairzinho Rosenstrike by submission in May. He's got those two names already built into his legacy. He's already ranked number 7. This man has a record of 20 wins, 2 losses, 7 by knockout, 12 by submission, only 1 decision. He hasn't lost since January of 2018. That wasn't even in the UFC. That was when he was 7 fights in, was where he had his two losses. And they were both...
So if he were to get the title shot, who is he skipping?
See, here's the thing. Almeida's not going to get the title shot off the rip. He's going to have to fight a Curtis Blades, a Pavlovich. If he beats Pavlovich, absolutely make Almeida Aspinall.
Yeah.
If you can make that in England or in Brazil, probably England, preferably for Tom Aspinall, boom, there's your other fight. Jailton Almeida is the man, but you got to make that fight quick. You got to make Almeida versus Pavlovich quick.
Okay. So how do we do this?
Dana?
How do we call Dana up and say, Dana, this is what I want?
If you don't know Dana, now you know. I just gave you a blueprint. Almeida, Pavlovich, book it. Book it and strip John.
Yeah, I think at this point, the whole, kind of like we brought up the conversation of McGregor shouldn't be allowed to fuck up the rankings, but after the Chandler fight, if he wins, he's going to fuck up the rankings. I feel like John Jones is in that same boat. He's a golden child, just like McGregor. He's kind of doing whatever he wants, but...
There's an alternative.
Okay.
Why doesn't Aspinall fight Miocic?
Okay.
Boom. But Miocic doesn't want that.
Yeah, because he wants John Jones.
So, for all we know, Miocic retires after the John Jones fight, too.
Because he's, what, like 42?
Yeah.
Yeah, so him and John Jones kind of just want to...
They want to
duke it out.
They want to
kind
have
of
that last dance
like
together.
Mayweather.
They want to have that
Pacquiao
last dance
did.
together,
Yeah.
and they want to call it a career. That's fine. Let the young guns like the Almeida versus Aspinall happen, if not Pereira. But just...
I think Pereira's going to fight Izzy first.
I think so, too. I think that's where we're headed. Speaking though of jumping weight classes and challenging people,
I like this one because I want to ask you something.
We got Suga Sean O'Malley recently calling out Ilia Topouria, saying, "You beat Alexander Volkanovski. I am coming to get your belt."
So let me ask you this: so isn't it fair to say that Volk is still the man because not even O'Malley's willing to move up?
Oh yeah, no, Sean O'Malley's admitted
That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to fight Volkanovski.
So what makes you think Topouria is going to have a chance? If O'Malley says, I don't want to fight Volk, right? It's because O'Malley's on my side saying Volk is the man.
Mm-hmm.
So even Sean is low-key admitting that probably Ilia is probably not going to win because he says if you beat him, not when you beat him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think...
So what's your question here?
I'm not making a question, I'm making a statement.
I'm
making a statement that we're going back to the delusional Julio where you think Ilia is going to beat Volkanovski.
So if I ask you, what's the percentage Topouria has against Volkanovski? What is it?
Everything's a 50-50.
No. Don't give me a political answer.
Everything's a 50-50.
Give me from your heart. What is the chance Topouria has?
45-55. I think that's solid.
I feel like you're lying to me.
Why am I lying?
I feel like he's lying to us. No, I want to know.
I just told you.
So it's 55-45.
Yeah.
Is Topouria a chump
Because
to you?
it is... No. He earned his spot.
Uh-huh.
He looks good.
Uh-huh.
He can strike. He can wrestle. He's got the stamina.
Uh-huh.
He's cute.
So let's say in a weird alternate universe, Volk is injured, out of the fight, out of UFC 298. O'Malley, Topouria for the interim featherweight title.
Ilia wins.
Okay.
Okay.
I wanted to see where you were going with that.
I'm just saying that it's cute that you want to bring up how O'Malley wants to call out Ilia but doesn't call out Volk.
Right.
I think that's cute.
Because of respect. No, I get it. I'm not discrediting Volk.
Yes, you are. You do it all the time.
No.
You do it all the time.
There's a difference between discrediting somebody.
Like Jake Paul?
Absolutely. That's discrediting. To saying Volk has his time. It is time to turn the page. What I'm saying is, just like Canelo, if Canelo loses to Benavidez, it was time to turn the page.
But you don't even believe Benavidez will beat Canelo. And if you did, it's because you flip-flopped.
It may no. In September, we have talk.
Again, here we go. But again, the only times that we kind of saw Volk vulnerable was when
When he almost tapped out to Ortega?
No, when he moved up and actually got knocked out.
Oh, you mean when he got his shin tattooed off of Islam?
Yes, a bigger dude.
Okay.
He needed to go fucking 100 pounds higher than him to get manhandled. In the same weight class, he's been dominant for so many years. He's never shown. He hasn't shown any signs
of slowing down. Yeah, I agree. Father Time is undefeated. For all we know, that night on February 19th, Volkanovski shows his age and gets beat, hopefully for your sake, not badly, by Ilia Topouria. Ilia Topouria is going to be
If he gets beat, it's because his head is still kind of drowsy from that leg kick. That's it. That's the only reason he lost.
So you already get your excuse for playing. You already get your excuse.
It's only because he's a little drowsy. That's it.
I hope you realize that Topouria beats Volk.
I'm just saying. I'm just going based on what I've seen. Volk every single time. It's because guys, if you'll get to know this man. He's a flip flopper. He's a flip flopper. For the longest, watch Holloway get his number 2 shot. Got his ass kicked. Watch Holloway try again on the 3rd fight. Got his ass kicked. Right? You're always yelling. Oh, watch Pantera. Got his ass kicked.
I don't think it went up to the not for Yair.
Yes, you did.
I said Volk beat Yair.
No.
You're getting confused with Ortega.
No.
Ortega I did.
Flip-flopper.
I never said Yair beats him.
We're going to bring my intern one day, and we're going to have a Julio intervention. I'm sorry, I'm Mexican.
Jeez, I have to help him shit on me.
I don't know. I have a very low vernacular. I don't know.
You are looking bad right now.
No, I'm not.
You're fumbling.
Because my fans understand me that you flip-flop a lot. Mm-hmm. You say this guy, this. You've made every excuse possible to fucking say that Volk is not the guy. And you didn't show a slight of respect until he fought Islam the first time. That was the first time I saw you kind of like, okay. Like when you first really saw what he was all about. Besides that, no, you don't.
I respect.
Okay,
one thing is to respect and another thing is to root.
I'm keeping my cool because I don't have the recordings of you flip flopping. But as people start watching our content, they will see you're a flip flopper. It's okay. It's okay.
You're mad because
just remember these words. If Topouria loses, he's gonna have an excuse, and then he's gonna find his replacement. Just keep an eye out for that. He's gonna find the excuse, and he will find the replacement, and we will be back here in a couple months. And he's gonna be like, "No, but this guy," because it was Ortega, freaking Holloway, Yair, and now it's Topouria. It's okay, guys. You will understand me.
I'll say this live as everybody's watching. Of those 4 names,
he is because he's the up and comer. It's one of those things that
we're seeing it. We're seeing the changing of the guard here. Ilia's gonna be champion no matter what.
When Volk moves up again.
If that's what it takes at that point.
I'm just saying Volk is.
Well, what I'm saying is Topouria might beat Volk.
Yes,
is 35.
That's fine.
Like he's not invincible.
I know, but I'm just going based off what I've said is. He hasn't shown any signs of slowing down other than when he moved up. Okay. And even when he moved up, he had a very competitive fight against the number 1 guy, the champion, Islam. And Islam just happened to be again that great that he adjusted and found a way to get Volk out of there.
Okay, so then that means at 145, Volk hasn't slowed down. I agree.
Yes.
Wouldn't that make Topouria beating Volk all that much more impressive?
Yes. I'm not taking that away from him. I'm just saying, it hasn't happened like that. I'm not going to give him props if it hasn't happened.
What I'm saying is, though...
Yes, if Ilia does that, I will kiss him and I will respect him because I am that guy. I will admit when I'm wrong. You're not. You're a proud woman. You're a very proud woman. You will remember me, guys, the excuse and then a replacement. You heard it here.
Well, I will say this, though. If Topouria beats Volk, there might have to be a rematch in there.
Depending on how he loses.
If he gets knocked into hell.
I mean, not even I will defend that. I mean, it's going to be like that Masvidal thing.
Which goes back to, though, if Topouria beats Volk, O'Malley's got no chance with Topouria.
Yeah, I know.
Now, it's an interesting striking fight because O'Malley's he's a good counterpuncher, and he's got length, and he's taller. He's just not bigger than Topouria.
But if you think about O'Malley's fight with Peter Yan, right?
It's good. That's a good comparison.
Yeah, so it's like, even though he won and in your eyes he lost, right? That kind of
is a blueprint.
It's a blueprint that was too close of a fight for me to believe that he's gonna have a competitive fight with someone like Volk or Ilia.
Well, Jan's older than Ilia.
Exactly.
And Jan doesn't wrestle the way Ilia can.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. So, like, based on what we saw because technically Sean O'Malley went from like fighting top 15s to boom, Peter Yan, right? And it was good for him because obviously that skyrocketed him to the position that he's at right now. But again, that was kind of like you said, a blueprint of what to expect out of O'Malley if you were to fight someone like Volk or Ilia.
Because both men can do both things.
100%.
So now, speaking of Volk, we move on to his former rival.
His daddy.
Oh, that hurt you, huh?
So what's up with this one? What do we want? What are we gonna see? What do you think? Because Islam, again, we were really hoping that we were gonna see Islam Charles. You know, we got the news he's hurt. So where does that leave Islam for the rest of the year, right?
Well, Islam's came out and he's basically revealed that he hopes to fight 2 times this year.
It's just doable at this point.
Because of his injury. Mm-hmm. He wants to fight in June. He does not want to fight the winner of Oliveira and Armin in June, though.
So who does he want to fight?
The second BMF champion, Justin Gaethje. Which is not a bad fight to take. Let's be real here.
Julio, we already talked about this though.
But look how much.
The most deserving person is Charles.
Yes, he is. But now he has an obstacle in front of him, so we have to throw that out the window.
Yeah, but it's like we're seeing the
ducking. Is that what you want to call it,
dude? Like
quack.
Like we're literally going in a situation where, like, what do you want? You're waiting for Charles to lose to some up and comer.
I think he really is.
I mean, that's what it looks like.
He really is.
Or he's waiting for fucking himself to be too big and can't make the weight no more, and he ends up moving up. Which one do you think is going to end up happening first?
He's hoping Armin can take out Oliveira.
But even if Charles beats Armin, he still doesn't want to fight him. So
he does. So here's the thing. In a perfect world, this is what Islam can do, or wants to do. He fights Justin Gaethje in June, which, if he does take that fight, it's not like Islam's going to steamroll over Justin. Justin has looked good.
Oh yeah, and I'm not saying anything about Justin. I'm just saying, what's up with my boy?
With Charles?
Yes, like obviously because Charles is fighting what in 300.
Mm-hmm.
That's what in April.
Yes.
Okay, so Islam fights in June. That's 2 months. They need another 3-4 months. So we're talking about they're not going to fight until like October, assuming.
Yeah, and probably once again in Saudi Arabia. So let's assume Islam fights Gaethje in June. Then he has until October to fight, because he said he wants the winner of Oliveira and Armin in October, most likely in Saudi Arabia.
So at this point, it's more of that.
He's acting like a diva.
Besides that, I think it's one of those things where realistically, he's probably thinking Justin is an easier fight, and he would like to get one fight in before taking the real fight.
Oh, you can't call Justin a tune-up.
No, I didn't call him a tune-up. I'm saying what I think he's thinking. Because if he's willing to take on Justin after coming off of an injury, but is not willing to fight the winner of Charles and Armin, then that sounds like he himself doesn't feel confident that he can take on immediately the winner of that fight. And it's not because I'm a Justin fan. I'm a Gaethje fan. You're not.
I like Gaethje.
You didn't like him against Poirier.
Here's the problem. Gaethje's always fighting guys I like more.
Again.
Like, that's the problem with Gaethje. Is he's always fighting guys I also like.
But,
I like them all, honestly. I mean, I'm a whore.
Yeah, you're a slut. Flip-flop. But
if Gaethje was to fight Islam, I am hoping to see Islam knocked out cold by just Gaethje. And that's not me trying to pick a favorite or anything. We don't do that around here. But, I would love to see Gaethje kind of go out like that, especially because he's representing, Arizona, Mexican roots, etc., etc.
I'm pretty sure earlier he said, I'm not about that race. I'm Japan. Go Japan. See? Flip-flop. When we talk about Inoue and Nery winning.
Yeah, but for Gaethje in that situation, I'm rooting for him for that reason.
Literally, this video alone, you see how this man contradicts himself.
Yeah, either follow me or you hate me. I don't give a damn. So I'm not here for any of y'all. Follow me or hate me. Here's why Gaethje versus Islam though is so easy to book. I know why Islam wants it. They're both in the same management. They both have Ali Abdelaziz as their manager. So can it happen? Yeah. Does it have a good chance of happening? Probably. And it could probably happen in June or July because of International Fight Week.
So it's probably going to be in the same card as
Conor. Can you imagine Conor and Chandler?
With Islam
and Gaethje there?
The press conference?
Dude, that press conference would be nasty because it's funny because Umar Nurmagomedov, he fights at bantamweight. He came out recently and said, I hope people understand that I'm not sitting out or ducking anybody. Nobody wants to fight me. Conor went, this is just off topic. Conor went to reply to that tweet and said, your younger cousin just got popped for steroids. All you Dagestanis are the same.
Hell yeah.
So imagine throwing Conor in the same room.
All in the same room. Let's do it.
But
we're gonna start seeing chairs flying left and right.
There's so many moving pieces at the lightweight division, and for the sheer justice of it, I would love to see Oliveira beat Armin. Just because, there's no more denying Oliveira. And it's funny because Oliveira could have been an absolute dickhead and been like, no, I don't want to fight anybody outside of Islam because I had that fight booked. Just because a sparring partner took me out with a gash to my head, I am going to sit out just like Gaethje is sitting out until he gets his shot. Gaethje could have fought Armin, and he's not fighting him.
Yeah, but staying active, I think, is more important than the pride. And I'm glad Charles
is a genuine fighter.
That's what I'm saying, and then that's only gonna keep making him better. And it's the same.
I think he's better. I think his resume is more stacked than Khabib's at this point.
Yeah, but I'm saying his fighting, ability and just the fact that he's active. By the time he's ready to fight Islam, he's probably gonna be more active than Islam at that point. So,
by the time they fight, they'll probably be around the same if Islam fights Gaethje in June.
Or Charles beats Armin, fights Gaethje, takes away everybody's positioning, and he's the only man to fight Islam.
Well, let's not make Charles go through the gauntlet either. That's just he's already beat Gaethje.
That's what I'm saying. So,
but aside from that, we have to keep a close eye on that. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to share it, go and share it. If you want notifications, hit that bell. Please subscribe. If you don't do any of that, you're a flip-flopper.
You're one of these guys.
You're one of me. And if you go do it, you're one of my people.
That's what it is.
See you later, y'all.